Hey everybody, Dylan Garland here, and this is a video that I've been wanting to put out for quite a while now, but for the first time in my career, I'm happy that the laziness prevailed, because the timing is a lot better now. So, in case you don't know, I am taking part in Morgue's Face of Halloween contest this year, and last year I took part in the same contest that was called the Face of Horror at the time. Now, when we were going through that, I was actually filming on a show called Haunted, so I was on the road and I wasn't home the entire time during this contest. And while I was on the road, I was looking for things to sort of talk about, stories to share, everything under the sun about horror, paranormal, and everything to put online to hopefully, convince people to vote for me to win the Face of Horror. And boy, oh boy, did we come damn close. We made it all the way to, I believe, the quarterfinals, which is something that I did not expect when I decided to do it on a whim last year. Now, this year, I think we can take it. I think we can go all the way with it. So last year, one of the biggest things that I realized I had a lot of fun doing was just talking about horror, talking about ghosts, talking about my favorite movies, talking about things like Dagger Woods here in Nova Scotia, which is the home of the Heidi Hinder, aka the Dagger Woods Howler Demon of Dagger Woods. But it sort of lit a fire under me to talk more about film, to talk more about horror, and to kind of share some of those stories with you guys online. So I have, in this video, compiled all of those videos from last year, so the 2024 contest, into one big compilation. So this will show you guys the stories of what I shared last year while we were doing this contest. We are in the very early stages of the Face of Halloween contest. So the pressure, while not too intense right now, it's still on. So please consider voting for me. The link is in the description of this video. Please consider voting for me for the 2025 Face of Halloween for Rue Morgue. The winner gets $13,000 cash. Holy shit. And also gets featured in Rue Morgue's magazine. Bucket list item for me. Probably the biggest part, the winner gets to meet Kane Hodder, Matthew Lillard, and Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah, holy shit. I am super excited about the potential of this because obviously those two things are huge, being featured in a magazine and meeting three legends of horror. But I think the biggest thing for me is that money will be used, if we win, that will be used to make a psychological horror film that I've been wanting to do, a short horror film that I've been wanting to do for a long time now. So basically, if we win, the next day, pre-production will begin. All right, I'm gonna stop rambling there and let you enjoy my rambling from about a year ago. But please consider voting for me in the Face of Halloween contest. The link is in the description below, and you can vote once daily for free. It resets every 24 hours. But if you are feeling a little bit charitable, they have an option that you can vote more than once. So you can do like a bundle of 5, 10, 25, and I think it goes up from there. With that money going to support a very great charity, the Starlight Children's Foundation. So we're giving back to kids. It's all win-win in my opinion. So if you're feeling charitable, feel free to consider that. Now I'm actually going to shut up and let my past self tell you about horror tales, ghost tales, and all of that stuff as we go through this madness journey that is known as the Face of Halloween contest. Thank you everybody for watching, and we will see you on the next video. Hey everybody, I've been meaning to do this video for about a week and a half now, and I kept forgetting. But I didn't forget this time, and I just want to come in here and say a big thank you to everybody who has been voting, sharing, and quite frankly, just the unreal support for me for this contest that I'm in right now, which you may have heard of, called the Rue Morgue's Face of Horror contest. Basically what it is that they do a yearly thing that is equal parts a contest for horror lovers, but also a charity initiative. So they're raising money for a charity, and you can get all the information on the link below or in this post if it's on Twitter, Facebook, wherever. But it's a contest where the winner gets $13,000 cash, which is pretty awesome. And they also get to go on a paranormal investigation / photo shoot with Kane Hodder. If you don't know who Kane Hodder is, I guarantee you do, because he is one of the actors who has played Jason Voorhees over the past few decades of the Jason legacy. It is kind of been super exciting because I on a whim, put my name into this.
Not really thinking that, hey, I had a chance in hell of winning this, but I have been in first and second place, kind of bouncing back and forth since the very beginning of this contest. And it has been because of you guys and your incredible support on this. It genuinely feels like a reality, which I didn't think it was going to be. And I just get more and more excited every day about this because of the potential of winning this. One, the money would be fantastic to take care of some bills and all that stuff. We all have them. We all hate them. We all want to get rid of them. But also, I've very much kind of been transitioning a little bit into the horror space for me as a director and storyteller. I've loved horror my entire life, ever since the very first horror film I ever saw, or one of the, at least the earliest one I can remember. I was at a friend's house when I was probably way too young, and his mother rented us Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors, which has become, honestly, my favorite horror movie of all time. Sorry, Kane Hodder. I love Jason too. Don't worry. But I've just been kind of enamored with that genre of filmmaking because, one, I think it's one of the most versatile genres of film. You can really tell any type of story. And a lot of the films you see, whether it's Jason, whether it's Freddy, whether it's, The Conjuring, or one of my favorites recently, Skinamarink, on face value, you're watching a monster movie, you're watching a slasher movie. But the more you dig deep into these, I find some of the most, deep and profound and relatable and just all around universal stories and themes are being told within these. Because, you watch a horror film, and yes, like I said, on the outside, you may be watching a slasher fic, but on the inside, like, say, for Insidious the Red Door, which just came out recently, which I loved, there's a story about a father scared about being a good dad or becoming a bad father and not being there like for his kid and stuff like that. So Skinamarink, a film that just came out a couple of years ago from Canada, a Canadian made amazing horror film. You look into that, and it on the outside it seems like a bunch of shots of walls and everything like that, but you dig deeper and it's a very, very, very relatable story about childhood and everything that comes with that. So horror is kind of screaming at me right now in a fun way to finally deep dive into that. So with the 13,000, if we win, yes, I'll be taking care of some of the not so fun stuff like bills and stuff, but I do plan on making a really, really involved horror film short, which is something that I've been wanting to do for a very long time. So I'm going to end this video here because it's probably gone on for way too long already, but you will see me a lot more over the next couple of days as well as over the next couple of weeks because I don't actually know when this contest ends, but I do know that there will be, I believe, a few more rounds in this, so I will be slightly annoying asking for your support, but I'm going to try to make it up for you without just doing, post here and there with text. I'm going to actually do videos, and the next video I will be talking about my own paranormal experiences because I've had a few, because I used to be a ghost hunter on a show called Haunted, and I'm actually about to be back on that show here in October, but I've had some experience that kind of scared I almost swore crap out of me. Gotta be PG on this, but have also just kind of interested me because I think there's a lot about life that we don't understand, and I think it's fun to kind of look into the darkness and see what stares back. So thank you so much. If you haven't voted, please consider voting. The link is in or around this video post somewhere. And if you have voted, you can vote every 24 hours. So whenever you vote, say you voted at 8 p.m. one day, the next day, 24 hours later at 8 p.m., it resets, so you can vote again. There's an amazing charity initiative on the site for you to vote. You can learn more about that. And if you want to, absolutely no obligation, but if you wanted to, you can donate to get more votes daily. And that money goes to that charity, which is really exciting and just great. Horror heals all. But for now, I'm going to end it there. Thank you so much for the support already. It's been unbelievable. At the end of this, if we don't win, it's been incredible just on its own. But if we do, I'm very excited to make something that will hopefully make you rethink if your doors are locked or if your windows are closed or if there's anybody in the corner or maybe behind you right now. I don't know, but we'll get there. Fingers crossed if we can pull this off. So thank you everybody so much for the Face of Horror support, and we'll see you very soon tomorrow with some paranormal stories to entice you to vote for me as Rue Morgue's new Face of Horror. See you guys later.
Hey everybody, I just wanted to jump in and again thank everybody for voting for me for the new Face of Horror with Morgue's contest, which I'm sure you've seen me plaster all over my Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all that over the past little while. I just want to pop in here and say thank you for all that, but also to update you on how it's going. Right now, it's going pretty well. I've been lucky to be kind of in the first and second position throughout this whole thing, and it's staying strong. Tonight, it goes into the top 5, and then after that there are a few more layers to this, and it looks like this contest will end I believe in around November. So that means that I am going to be even more annoying in asking you to consider to vote for me for the new Face of Horror with Morgue. And if you don't know, it's basically a contest where the winner gets $13,000 cash, always good, but also they get a paranormal photo shoot / investigation with Kane Hodder, who is one of the actors who have portrayed Jason Voorhees over the years, which is just kind of freaking awesome. I'm super excited because I'm hopeful that if we win, I'm hopeful to make a short horror film, psychological horror film that I've been wanting to make for a while. But tonight I wanted to share a little story, and the location in which I'm sharing the story is actually on the set of a ghost hunting show called Haunted, and I am in a graveyard at the moment because my life and my job is absolutely batshit insane. So, I wanted to share my first paranormal experience ever that I remember. Now, there may have been something when I was a kid that happened, but for me, this is the first time I ever had a paranormal experience that I can fully remember and that I fully clocked as, ooh, this is weird. This might be something that I don't understand. So, in the first season of this show, Haunted, we went to a place called Dexter's Tavern in Liverpool, Nova Scotia. And we were at this place, and I'll be fully honest, going into it, I was like, it's going to be interesting making a ghost show, because my assumption was, I wonder how we're going to fake this. How are we going to set this up in a way where, it looks real? And I had talked to our director at the time, still director, Paul Kimball, and I asked him, like, okay, so how do we do this show? Because I was the director of photography at the time. And I basically asked, like, so do we fake things? How do we make things happen? His response was, wait and see. Sure enough, first location, Dexter's Tavern, I had an experience. And the experience was during a lunch break in between filming, we were sitting downstairs waiting for part of our crew to come back after they were eating. And it was a quiet house. Dexter's Tavern is basically it's a private home now. But out of nowhere, in the complete silence of the building, upstairs, because we were sitting in the first floor, we hear clear as day somebody walk like heavy feet on wood from one end to the other. Nobody was there. There was no trees or anything next to the house. We cannot explain it to this day. And for me, that opened up my mind to, this, 1, could be really fun, and 2, could be extremely creepy. And spoiler alert, because I did 6 seasons of Haunted, and I'm currently on their season 13, returning to the side of paranormal investigation, it has been spooky since that moment, and it has only gotten worse. So over the time of this contest, I'm going to share a few more stories. Probably won't be in a graveyard every single time, but this felt right to film this video respectfully with everybody in the graveyard. But I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been voting. Please consider continuing to vote, I should say. You basically get to vote once a day, and it resets every 24 hours. So say if you vote at 8 p.m. one day, 8 p.m. the next day, you'll be able to vote again. We are in the first and second position in one of our brackets, and it's really getting down to it. And we're getting down to the top 5, and it's going to cut down, I believe, to the top 3, and then things get really serious. So thanks again, everybody. I will see you in the next video. And let's see if we can't make this mug the new face of horror. See you later, everybody. How's it going, everybody? Probably time for another update on the road to the Face of Horror. I'm currently filming this in a haunted theater. I'm not going to tell you where. There we go. There's a little bit of light. But it's a place I've been before, and it was super haunted. But what I want to do today is, instead of telling you a ghost story, which is what I did last time, I'm going to tell you the story of... I'm surrounded by ghouls and goblins. I want to tell you the story of my first horror film and kind of how I got into horror movies, because horror has become kind of my favorite genre over the years. but it wasn't the case very early on. But a mischievous parent of a best friend of mine at the time thankfully got me hooked because, well, I'll tell you the story. So when I was young, I was over to a friend's house, and we were just watching movies, hanging out and stuff. And back when you could rent videos and films, the good old days, I can't believe I'm saying that, I'm old now. She went and got us a film, and it was called Nightmare on Elm Street Dream Warriors, which has become my favorite horror film of all time. I had never really gone down the horror route before, and it was the first time that I got to experience something that was like made to make you feel fear, and that was kind of exciting to me. This lighting's great, eh? What an exciting video. You can see so much. It's turned into a podcast. But I got to see that movie and it kind of changed me. It's like, man, I've never felt this before watching a movie. Like as a kid, you watch a movie and things are scary. Like I used to be scared of the Nazgul from Lord of the Rings, and I used to be scared of the T-Rex from Jurassic Park, Lost World, when he ate the dog and was in the window. But I hadn't really experienced fear as a horror film before, or from a horror film with, you know, the intentionality is we want to make you feel scared. And it was eye-opening for me because I fell in love with the genre and I fell in love with what it could accomplish as a genre. So it was very exciting for me. So I wanted to pop in, give you a little bit of more stories about my life as a horror fan, and eventually I'll tell some more paranormal stories. But the whole idea is, hey, we're trying to win this Face of Horror contest from Morgue, and I want to share some stories and not just be putting up text and photos for you to vote for me. But you can vote for me right now. Link attached to this video. I am in the seance round, and we're getting down to the nitty gritty. Like, I believe I may be wrong on this, but I think if I'm not in first place on this, I may be kicked out of the competition. I'm currently second, so we've got a little bit of work to do. So please consider for voting for me for Rue Morgue's Face of Horror, where the winner gets an interview in Rue Morgue's magazine, which I've been a big fan of for a very long time. They win $13,000 cash, which I'll be using to make a psychological horror film that I'm wanting to make for a very long time. And you get a photo shoot, a paranormal investigative photo shoot that will be featured in their magazine with Kane Hodor, aka Jason Voorhees. I also love that I have like basically a backing track in this. My job is weird. My life is bizarre. I am a professional ghost hunter. What the F? Anyways, thank you everybody for voting so far. I really appreciate it. Let's see if we can't get me back into first and into the next round of Rue Morgue's Face of Horror contest. Until next time, I'm Dylan Garland, hunting ghosts. See you down the road. Weird life, guys. Weird life. Hey, how's it going, everybody? I decided to change it up from my last video, which was in the complete darkness, aside from a blue hue light, which was only really lighting my chin. But I decided to make this a little happier and cheerful and bright. I just want to update you guys on the Rue Morgue Face of Horror contest, which I'm sure you guys are super tired of hearing about already. But we've got some good news, very exciting news. Last night, we shifted from second place to first place in the seance round. And if you guys didn't see my post, basically in the seance round, if I'm not first, I'm last. Ricky Bobby. I will be booted from the competition if I am not in first place. I believe that seance round ends in a day and a half. I'll double check on that. When I post this video, I'll actually say what the actual thing is. But just wanted to pop in and give a little ghost story. Sorry, something caught my eye. I can't tell if it's wood, beaver, I don't know. But look how beautiful Liverpool is. Gorgeous. Very tired. We were up very late last night filming a ghost show called Haunted. And to segue into that, just in this town, another ghost story for you all, is where I had another one of the craziest paranormal or unexplainable events of my life. I will preface this by saying when I started Haunted, I really didn't believe, or at least I didn't know I believed anything. The paranormal kind of escaped me for most of my life. Oh, that log is gone. That was definitely an animal. There you go. The paranormal escaped me. Yeah, it just wasn't something that I was maybe conscious about. It wasn't something I was looking for, nothing I was really open for. But when we started doing the show and, you know, the darkness creating fear and fear creating belief, it changed for me. And one of the biggest moments for me actually happened just, I believe it's over there somewhere. It's the Queens County Museum, beautiful museum here in Liverpool. And basically what happened is we were filming, and on set we take little breaks here and there because cameras are heavy, ghost hunting exhausts you, and it's always good to take a little minute to yourself. But during one of our breaks, we were just setting down cameras and doing the thing. Holly, one of the hosts of the show Haunted, was in the archival room, which is kind of in the back area of the Queens County Museum. And out of nowhere, I hear a scream and then a big inhale. And then I rush in, turn on the camera and say, uh-oh, what happened, Holly? Turns out that the scream I heard was not actually Holly. The inhale was, and thankfully we have a bunch of footage to show this, but the scream wasn't Holly, and it was none of our crew. Thankfully we had cameras literally everywhere and a microphone in that room. And it was one of those things that just the more that we kind of picked apart at it, the more we realized this is not normal, this is weird, this doesn't make any sense. One of our theories at the time was that it was our walkie-talkies, because when we work on film or TV, we usually have walkie-talkies because, one person's doing lighting in another room, another person's doing camera work in another, so we got to be able to talk to each other fairly quickly. But it wasn't, and I'll tell you why. Holly had a walkie-talkie in the archival room with her. I had a walkie-talkie right next to my head at the time because I was kind of bending over to set up a camera, and there was a bench next to me or a something. I had the walkie-talkie somewhere elevated enough so it was basically on my ear or next to my ear when this thing happened. Everything was on. We were all on the same channel. Nobody else heard this noise, and the only person that did hear this noise, aside from the people who thought Holly screamed, was Holly herself. When you break it down, and you can actually see this on YouTube, if you go to Eastlink Community TV's YouTube channel, the first 4 seasons of Haunted are on there. I believe this is episode 1 or 2. Like, this is ground floor of Haunted. You can actually find this noise, and you can find what I'm about to talk about, because I took it home and I kind of manipulated it a little bit, not in the sense of changing anything, but slowing it down, speeding it up, reversing it, because you never know about these things. And we kind of broke it down, and we realized that when you listen and when you slow it down a little bit, it said Holly clear as day. It said Holly's name. To this day, I can't explain it. Doing ghost hunting, and I'll be fully honest, a lot of me is pretty skeptical. Do I believe in demons? I don't know. Probably not. Do I believe in the devil? Do I believe in creatures chasing us through the darkness? Probably want to hope not, because I feel like the human brain probably couldn't handle that if it was true. But I think that something's weird in the world, whether that's ghosts, goblins, and ghouls, I don't know, but something weird happened that night in a way that I still to this day can't explain. And it's just kind of put the fear of God in me. I've used that term a lot on the show. Put fear in me. And it's one of those things that to this day we talk about and we just can't understand. It's very creepy. I'll link that episode actually to the post that you're watching here on Facebook. But yeah, I just wanted to share that, and I'll share a few more ghost stories here over the next few days. And if we do, oh, we got a hornet. Hi, buddy. Do you want to not do this? I'm gonna walk away. This might be edited. Okay, we're good. Commercial break. Yeah, I'm gonna just share some more ghost stories over the next few days. If we make it past the seance round, which honestly I think we can now. I was very excited when I opened the thing last night. It said first. But if we make it to the seance round, I'll share even more stories as we hopefully head towards winning this contest and gaining $13,000 cash, which I'll be using or a portion of it to make a psychological horror film that I've been excited to make. And also winning a paranormal photo shoot investigation that will be featured in Morgue's magazine, which I'm a huge fan of. But not only that, he'll be doing it with one of the actors who played Jason Voorhees, which is just incredible. So I just want to say thank you to everybody. We were in second place for a little bit there, and I was a little bit worried just because I know the seriousness of this round is if you ain't first, you're gone. But we're back in first, so let's see if we can't maintain that and move into the next round and inch that much closer to something that I genuinely didn't think it was going to be a reality. But here we are. And it's very exciting, and I hope that hornet wasn't a bad sign. All right, I'm going to leave you, despite saying ghost stories, I'm going to leave you with the beautiful, it almost looks fake, honestly, river line of Liverpool. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for getting me back to first place. It is unbelievable. I got to be honest with you, I wasn't sure if this was even going to be a thing. I figured maybe I'll get stuck in 10th place in the first round and not even make it past round 2. but we are in serious contention for winning this thing, and it's because of your guys' support, sharing, voting, and all that. So click the link in this video if you would like to vote for me. Please consider voting for me. You can do it every 24 hours, and I will have more ghost stories, more talk about horror films and all that as we make our way through this. So thank you again, and I will see you next time as we chase to become the new face of horror. Very dramatic ending. See you later, everybody, and thank you. Hey everybody, how is it going? It is urgency time here for the Morgue Face of Horror contest you've heard me say about 30,000 times by now. But tonight at 1 a.m., the most crucial round, arguably so far, of the contest comes to an end. And basically the deal is, if I'm not in first, I am cut from the competition. Now, currently when I film this, we are in first place. However, not but 30 minutes ago, we were in second. So me and the number 2 are basically neck and neck in this competition. But in today's video, as I stand in front of one of the most haunted looking buildings I have ever seen in my existence, like if anybody were to ask, hey, can you describe what a haunted building looks like? Probably be this one. I wanted to talk about my love of horror films. Because the whole kind of plan with this contest, if we win, is that I want to make a horror film. I've written one straight horror, one with horror elements in the past. A few years ago, I wrote a film called The Human Limit. And The Human Limit, which ended up being directed by Chelsea Comeau for Cinema 902 on Eastlink, which I believe you can actually watch right now if you have Eastlink. The idea of the film and kind of the pull for me to jump on and write it was the idea of the human brain being easily manipulated. Can't even speak English yet, I'm a writer. Easily manipulated by the paranormal. And the idea is that also grief can cause you to chase paths that maybe creepy timing. The idea being that like grief and, that type of thing can cause you to go down paths that may actually not have anything to do with what you're searching for. And that film kind of, went down that rabbit hole of, when you're dealing with grief and you decide to go down the paranormal rabbit hole looking for answers, will you find the answers you're looking for, or will those be fabricated by something evil? And in that film, spoiler, it's something evil. Another light. This is really creepy. And also a deer. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, right there. And I love horror for that aspect because it kind of allows me, at least in my opinion, it allows you to look into the human mind, the human heart, and kind of stretch it thin to see what it could handle. And that always really excited me. My hope, if we win this contest, or not my hope, what will be happening if we win this contest, is that I want to make a short horror film because, quite frankly, in my career, I want to shift into horror. And I think I've wanted to do that for a very long time because I just love the genre. And the film, I'll give a little bit of a tease if we do get to make it. The film I want to make deals with childhood and your childhood self. And when is it time to maybe let that go? When is it time to dig deep and, utilize that? But just your childhood self, a little bit of nostalgia, a little bit of protective nature about who you used to be, who you used to represent, and how that changes over time. I won't give too many details because it will be a short film, and quite frankly, if I give you any more details, it will spoil the story. But I really want to dive into horror, and it's a story that I really want to tell. And I'm hopeful that if we win this, not only am I able to tell that story, but I'm able to tell it with an actor that I've really wanted to work with for a very long time. I'll mention, I won't mention who that is just because I don't want to blow it with them before I actually pitch it to them. But it is a story that I've been kind of really, really thinking about for a long time and something that I really want to make. So I'm hoping that through this contest, we will be able to get there and I can start my official career as a horror filmmaker from here on out. And what a way to start that off, by becoming Rue Morgue's Face of Horror this year. Thank you everybody so much for voting. I really genuinely appreciate it. I'm excited for the possibility of what this contest could mean for, not just my career, which is obviously huge if we won this, but just it's been so humbling, and I hate using that term, but it's been humbling to see the support. I've taken a bit of a break from filmmaking for the past little while. I made The Last Divide, and
for anybody who's done film before, making movies and making TV is exhausting. And I kind of put my all into the Last Divide TV series, and it exhausted me. You know, I hit a wall after doing this for 12 years straight without any break. I slammed into a wall, collapsed, and every single time I kind of went to write again, I just couldn't get there. I was just too tired. I felt too tired, and I just really couldn't force myself to kind of get in that position. However, lately, during this whole contest, it feels like, as all these lights coming on, I'm gonna call that a good sign. It has gotten me to the point of so damn excited for making movies again, and I'm hopeful that we'll be able to do it through this contest. So I just want to thank everybody. I will say I have not asked anybody to use their hard-earned dollars in this contest, because I know, hey, we're all trying to make it week by week, month by month. But I also know that a lot of you have donated money to a great cause through this contest. But just everybody who has done that and kind of gone into their pockets to vote a few more times a day, I really appreciate it. There's no obligation. If you do have the extra cash, the lights are kind of freaking me out. I feel like I'm a little bit nervous now. But anybody who spent the extra cash to donate to a great cause, I really appreciate it. And just overall, everybody, thank you for, quite frankly, getting me back into the mode of making movies, hopefully making horror, which is the whole plan here, and expanding my own career into something that is spooky, scary, and hopefully will make you wonder if your doors are locked, your windows are locked, and if that dark part of your corner is maybe not just a shadow. So I just want to thank everybody again. I will keep you guys updated. I very much hope and am fingers crossing that we make it into the next round. This is the most crucial round, because like I said, if I'm not first, I'm out. But thank you guys, everybody, for just getting me into the mode of making films, telling stories, and all that. It means the world. And if, quite frankly, if we get cut tonight, yes, part of me will be upset, of course, but I will not be devastated, because this has been an incredible experience so far. But hopefully we've got a few more rounds left in us, and we can make some spooky, scary horror. So thank you, everybody. I am going to go do my my job, which is ghost hunting, because my career is batshit insane. But I just want to pop on here and say thank you. The next round ends 1 a.m. tonight. And then if we're first, we will move on to the next round. So thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful night. I am here live in front of the most haunted looking building I have ever seen in my life. But I will keep you posted as we move through to become Rue Morgue's new face of horror. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Hey, how's it going, everybody? I am here on the set of what looks like Friday the 13th movie. I don't know why this is blocked off. It looks creepy. So perfect for the background for another video. Nice little segue to the Face of Horror contest you've heard so much about from me over the past month. We are very close. We are the third to last round right now. After this, we only have 2 more, and I promise there are no more hidden rounds. That is it. You guys have gone on an Iron Man journey with me through this contest, and I really appreciate it. I didn't even expect this many rounds, but it has been fun to kind of go through this and be anxious about winning for this long. Wanted to pop on and tell you a little story today in hopes to convince you to consider to vote for me for the Rue Morgue Face of Horror contest. Today I want to talk about something that we call the Guysborough Scratch. And what the Guysborough Scratch is, as a leaf blower comes our way, so I apologize for the noise. The Guysborough Scratch was a moment during Haunted Season 6 that I was directing. And basically, we called it that because during our time at the Guysborough Courthouse filming an episode, we all heard in person, in real time, a really gross noise. I feel like I'm about to be murdered by a leaf blower guy right now. This may be the perfect video, and it gets louder. Excellent. Isn't this great? Anyways, Guysborough Scratch, we ended up hearing something crazy in person, and then we also heard it on multiple microphones, multiple cameras. We caught it fairly well on many different things. I'm a little distracted by this leaf blower, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if you could tell. Anywho, we caught this noise. We might get to the end of the story by the time that this video ends.
We got this noise in the Guysborough courthouse that scared the living hell out of everybody in the room. And then upon reviewing the sound, it got worse and worse and worse and worse. And a little treat for you guys, I've included a link. If you're checking this out on Facebook, there's a link below to an Instagram video that Kim Mosier, who was an investigator at the time on the show, created and uploaded about that specific scratch. So you'll be able to hear it, the review segment, and everything leading up to it. But basically what happened was we pushed things too far. And it was the first time for me hunting ghosts where I was like, maybe I should back off a little bit, because the majority of what I do on this show and the majority of kind of like what I enjoy doing to the betterment or worsening of those around me is to push the envelope a little bit, to be a little bit ghost rebellious. Because quite frankly, we don't know what is out there. We don't know how any of this works. You know, we all have theories, we all have feelings, we all have guesses, but when it comes to the realm of paranormal, nobody on planet Earth knows. Nobody, not one single person knows how any of this works. So I like to push the boundaries to see what I can get away with. On this night, we pushed the boundaries by playing with the Ouija board, calling things out pretty intensely and probably disrespectfully if I was involved, and just kind of pushing the envelope as far as we could. And at one point, we do a countdown from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and right on 1 we get the grossest sound I've ever heard in person. And I can describe it as somebody with claws scratching down a wooden floor from like one end to the other. It was disgusting. And upon review, it got even worse and more gross. It's one of those moments where I have a pretty high threshold of what is paranormal and what isn't, and what I feel might be something and what might not be. But this is one of the moments, probably one of the top 2 that I can remember, that shook me to my core, because there were just so many coincidences. And my biggest thing, especially when I do ghost hunting, is that, you know, context is king when it comes. This is the noisiest place I've ever been to in my life. This is the most serene, beautiful forest, and it's like I'm in the middle of a Transformers fight. Sorry about that. Anyways, my kind of feelings on everything paranormal is that when context comes in and, you know, it just makes way too much sense, it's hard to ignore. Context is king, as I said. So when things kind of line up and they all work together, it's very weird. And we've had moments on Haunted where 1 or 2 things line up and it's like, wow, that's pretty creepy. At Guysborough, we had about 5 or 6 things line up within the span of 2 minutes. And it really threw us for a loop. And Guysborough Courthouse, please visit. Beautiful museum. Probably one of the spots where if I was asked to go for a leisurely visit, I would respectfully pass because of this noise. And I hope you guys get to check it out. Like I said, if you're checking this out on Facebook, I'll post a link to the video itself in the post. If you're watching this on Instagram, what I'll do, because links suck on Instagram, because all social media is like one decision away from being great, but they'll never make that decision. I will post it in my stories. So what you'll do is you'll just check my stories, and then it'll say like this link here for the Guysborough Scratch, and you guys can check it out. So I wanted to pop in, tell a little story about pushing it a little too far when it comes to the paranormal, in a spot that kind of looks like Crystal Lake from Friday the 13th, which would be really, really cool and great context to bring this around if we won the Rue Morgue Face of Horror contest, because if we do win, I get to go on a paranormal investigation / photo shoot with Rue Morgue, but also with Kane Hodder, who played Jason Voorhees in some of the Friday the 13th movies. So huge thank you to everybody for getting us into the quarterfinals. I can't believe it. I genuinely can't. When I kind of put in my application, my thought was, this will be fun. It might be cool to kind of meet some other horror people, learn a little bit more about Rue Morgue and all this, and then I'll probably, you know, be thrown out of the competition fairly early. Not the case. We are in the final 3 rounds. So we have this round, the next round. I don't know where the camera is. So if I'm looking over here, I promise I'm not looking over your shoulder. Or am I? Maybe there's something behind you. We have this round, and then we have the next round, and then we have the final round, which will decide Rue Morgue's new face of horror. And I believe the way it works is that the way that the last one worked, if I'm not in first, I am last. Currently, we are in first. Baffles my mind at that fact. We have, I think, 8 days or 8 or 7 days from the moment I record this video for this round. So please remember to vote daily, every 24 hours. If you haven't voted, please consider voting. You can read all the information about it on the link in the videos here. to kind of understand what we're going after. The biggest thing is the $13,000 prize, which I plan to use to make a psychological horror film, short film that I've been wanting to make for a while. So I'm gonna go back to Crystal Lake. I'm gonna hang out in the woods, see if I can't get stabbed by a slasher. Maybe Freddy, maybe Jason, maybe Terrifier. We're living good with horror right now. But thank you, everybody. I really appreciate it. Apologize for the noise. Incredible timing in such a serene place. I will have another video for you guys tomorrow, most likely from a haunted location. Yay. But until then, thank you, everybody. Please consider voting daily. It resets every 24 hours, so you get one vote a day. And before I get taken out by the leaf blower, I'm going to head away from this forest, because now I'm starting to feel a little creeped out. So thank you again, everybody, and we will see you tomorrow on this very long road, but coming to an end road, of the Face of Horror contest for Room Order. Thank you again, and we'll see you tomorrow. Hey everybody, time for another Face of Horror video in the most beautiful spot I think I've been in so far in these videos, here at the Overlook Hotel from The Shining. Perfect spot. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about something different, but before I get there, I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been voting and who's been sharing. Apologies if my voice is a little raspy today. Been ghost hunting for 2 weeks. But thank you to everybody who's been, voting and sharing and everything. We've been kicking ass. Like, there's no other way to put it. There are moments where we kind of dip down to 2 or 3. I think we got to 5th for like an hour. But the moment that you guys start voting, it bumps us right up to 1st. So it genuinely makes me feel like this is possible, and it's all because of you. So thank you so much for that. It means the world, and hopefully when we win, if we win, I won't get cocky yet, we'll be able to make a really cool film, really cool short film, and that'll be because of all of you. So thank you so much for that. Today I wanted to talk about something a little different, because I've talked about ghost hunting, I've talked about films and horror films and stuff like that, but I wanted to talk a little bit about music today, and specifically a band called Ghost. I love horror, hence why I'm in a Face of Horror contest. There's something about the genre that I just think is the most widespread in terms of the stories you can tell, because most of the stories you can tell, say in a drama or a period piece, they are limited to specifics, where horror, I think you can just about tell any story metaphorically, literally, paranormally, anything. It's got this wide range, and I think that's super exciting. Music also has that, and this band, Ghost, has that in spades. I found them during COVID. It was during the first 2 months of the COVID lockdown, and we had nothing to do, so I decided to try and find some new music, because I unfortunately have been listening to the same 8 bands since I've been a teenager. So I wanted to spread that out a little bit and learn about some new bands. And I found Ghost. And Ghost is a band from Sweden. And the idea of the band, and yes, there is an idea behind the band, is that they are a traveling Satanist group, if you will, spreading the message of their Lord Lucifer through music and stuff. But before anybody says, what are you listening to? It is very tongue-in-cheek. It is very parody in a lot of different ways. But what I love about this band is that they have such an amazing theatrical side to it. So basically, the lead singer, who is a man by the name of Tobias Forge, that's his real name, he plays a character named Papa Emeritus. And the idea is that so far with the band, every album cycle or at the end of a tour, they remove the current Papa Emeritus and then replace him with a new one. So we've had 4 so far, technically 5 because there was a Papa Zero. And then they, move into the next chapter of their satanic plan, I guess, to put it lightly. But what I find really cool about it is that the lead singer wears a mask. He's got like a mask that is face painted. So it's got like kind of a white majority to it, but then like black kind of designs on it. And I just love that. I've been a huge fan of that type of look. Sting, one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. The Joker, one of my favorite, comic book characters of all time. Just that kind of white with black eyes and stuff, that look. But what the band really does is it takes this kind of horror element and it pays homage to a lot of different horror elements within their content. They just put out a movie called Right Here, Right Now, which was fantastic. My favorite film of the year so far. They've done music videos that kind of harken back to those like really early horror films. And you can tell that they just have a love for horror with what they do, and obviously with the character of Papa Emeritus, which we're on 4 now, which I think we might be getting 5 real soon. There is sort of like this almost Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees stature to him, and not in a sense that he's a slasher and he's going around killing all the fans at his concert or anything like that, but it's like a mainstay character where, you know, if you watch a Friday the 13th movie, you kind of expect to see Jason and see what he's up to. When you watch Halloween, for the most part, you expect Michael Myers. And that's the same thing with this. It's like when you engage with Ghost, you know that Papa Emeritus is around the corner in one way or another. And for me, that's really exciting because I love those characters of horror. You know, I think a lot of the movies that I really like in horror have those types of like larger than life characters that grab you by the throat, maybe a little too hard sometimes, maybe with claws or knives for hands. But I love those characters that kind of pop out. You know, Freddy Krueger, the ones I mentioned. Recently, we had stuff like The Nun. The Terrifier movies are catching wind like no other in independent horror right now. But I always love those characters because I love kind of understanding the lore and going along for the ride. And that is what Ghost is. Ghost has the deepest lore of a band I have ever seen in my life. And it reminds me of those horror, you know, movies. You learn every time you watch a Nightmare on Elm Street movie, you learn a little bit more about Freddy. You know, what is he about? What is the history? What is he trying to do? And that's kind of what happens with Ghost. And not to mention their music just rocks. It's my favorite kind of genre, that, you know, rock, metal genre, stuff like that. But it's cool that horror has had its kind of tentacles in a way spread across so many different genres and mediums of entertainment. Music, art, in terms of paintings, film, television, just everything. The horror genre is just the most versatile genre for me. And Ghost is a huge example of the influence of what horror can do and what horror can inspire, which is super, super cool. So yeah, I just want to talk a little bit about that today. A little rambly today, but that's okay. And I also just wanted to remind everybody that we are in the exorcism round. Very exciting, great name. Of the Morgue Face of Horror contest that I am in. If you don't know about it, there's a link below. Please check that out. You can find the details of what's going on, a little bit of an interview, or 3 questions with me, where I'm kind of explaining just my feelings on the darkness, what I'll do with the prize money and everything like that. But you can also vote. Every 24 hours you can vote to help me win and become the new face of horror, which is such a crazy sentence to me because I did not expect to make it this far. But please consider voting for me. The prize is a paranormal investigation photo shoot with Kane Hodder, who plays one of the actors who has played Jason Voorhees over the years. $13,000 cash, which I plan to use a portion of that to make a short psychological horror film that I've been hoping to make or wanting to make for a long time now. And yeah, please consider voting. Please consider sharing. Yeah, we might be able to win this. There's only 3 rounds left, including this one. And I believe this one ends in 5 or 6 days. So yeah, it's been a wild ride. And I think I said this in another video. If this ends tomorrow or at the end of the next round, you know, yes, I will be disappointed, of course. Who wouldn't be? But I will also be very proud and happy the fact that we made it this far. But let's see if we can't go all the way. All right, I will leave you with that in front of the Overlook Hotel from The Shining. We are off to hunt ghosts yet again. So now I get to seep myself in the darkness of Paranormal Activity. Also a great film franchise. But until tomorrow, thank you guys so much for voting. I'll check in tomorrow with some new video content. So it's a video content I've made in the past 3 years. But yeah, thank you everybody for watching. And please consider voting for me for Rue Morgue's Face of Horror. We'll see you tomorrow. Hey everybody, time for another video, the daily video for the Face of Horror contest. Wanted to pop in today and talk specifically about Nova Scotia. And the reason I want to talk about Nova Scotia today is where I'm at right now, which is arguably the most gorgeous location. Pretty much feels like the end of the world since I've been doing these videos. I'm actually at the Bay of Fundy. This is, right here, the Bay of Fundy. We are on the islands, Briar Island, Long Island, I think it's called, filming for Haunted. And It's beautiful. I really don't need to say that because look, if I sound out of breath, it's because I just hiked a little bit. Oh my God, there's deer. Sorry, I just like, I don't know if you can see them down there. I got a little scared. I'm not gonna lie. Perfect segue. I want to talk about Nova Scotia today because I feel like Nova Scotia has this rich history with it when it comes to horror things that I think is halfway untapped in a lot of different ways. I know for me, like a lot of my inspiration for horror came from, you know, the mainstream stuff, Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, and all that stuff. But Nova Scotia itself has so many stories that you could kind of borrow from or be inspired by. One of the biggest ones for me is Dagger Woods. If you've never heard the story of Dagger Woods, search it. It's amazing. And if you want an incredible soundtrack to that, find the Stanfield song, Dagger Woods. It tells an incredible tale that, I don't know, might make a good movie someday. But Nova Scotia for me, over time and kind of the more that I've been doing shows for Eastland Community TV and kind of doing more documentary stuff and learning more about the place, there's so much history here and there's so many amazing stories that could be fantastic horror films. And I'm excited to hopefully win this contest because I want to take advantage of that. I'm gonna move because the sunset. We're gonna watch the sunset together in this video. I'm gonna try not to get it in my face. I don't know why I keep trying to say Halifax. That hike took me out. So here's your comedy part of this. I am so out of shape that a 10-minute hike destroyed me, but it was worth it because look at that view. Nova Scotia, specifically, not Halifax. Again, it just has this rich history. There's so many stories. You know, we're on the coast, so there's so many inns and places we've gone that have stories of, you know, residential spirits who are kind of like within the walls. We are surrounded by coast, water. So there's so many stories. There's actually one story I'll tell you. Apparently here, exactly where I'm at right now, I'm kind of standing on, don't try this at home, kids, standing on a rock here, like the middle of the trail. But apparently right here, somebody has seen a ghost ship in this area, which is, honest to God, one of my bucket list items for ghost hunting. But there's so many stories like that in this province, and it's amazing. The fact that, you know, a movie like The Lighthouse was filmed here. We've had horror over the years, Hobo with a Shotgun, stuff like the Jason Eisner's made. So many filmmakers have kind of tapped into that horror aspect of filmmaking. It's because Nova Scotia is a great place to make horror. Location-wise, endless locations. There's a reason Stephen King stories keep getting told in Nova Scotia. It's just, there's something about Nova Scotia as a province that yearns for horror stories. And that's really exciting to me. So it's just going to be a quick one because I know I've been doing like 8-minute, 9-minute videos. More or less just wanted to watch the sunset with you guys. Very romantic. But I just want to talk about Nova Scotia in general. I am kind of making this trek into horror as a filmmaker, and it's really exciting to me. Not only because I like the genre, which I think I've talked quite a bit about, but also the landscape of where I call home just is so giving when it comes to the horror genre, through historical information, through locations, through anything. I feel like Nova Scotia is the perfect home for horror movies, and that's super exciting to me. So I hope that if we get to win this Face of Horror contest, we get to tell, or at least start, a new chapter in my life as a filmmaker and telling horror stories. Because this place, I mean, as beautiful as this is, what a great place to tell a horror story about a ghost ship. No? Probably. I just got to get used to the hike because clearly I am not. Yeah, I just wanted to pop in. I saw this view. I wasn't even going to film. I was just kind of checking it out. I think the sun is going to actually set while I'm doing this video. But I just wanted to pop in and say hi to everybody and say thank you for voting. We are still in first last time I checked. And that's so exciting because, again, this is a real possibility, legitimately a possibility. And that's super exciting to me. So I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to go watch the sunset. I'm going to enjoy it because very rarely do I get to do this because we're usually locked in a haunted museum or somewhere while the sun sets. But just want to say thank you for everybody voting. Please check the link in the description. Nope, that's a YouTube thing. Check the link in the post if you're on Facebook, and then the link in my bio if you're on Instagram to check out the details of the Face of Horror contest and consider voting because We're in the last 3 rounds here, and realistically, we could do this, which is unreal to me. So enjoy, everybody. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your night. Enjoy this beautiful sunset here at the Bay of Fundy here in Nova Scotia. And I'm going to go hike back, maybe throw up once or twice on the way back, and then plan cardio workouts from now on because I think I need it. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for voting. I really appreciate it. And we will see you in the next video. See you later, everybody. Hey everybody, a little late coming in with this video for the Face of Horror contest. I had a plan for this one that is not the plan that I'm currently using. I was gonna go to a place that I've been wanting to go for a while and shoot like a little bit of a spooky video tonight, but as we were coming in, the moon was super red and I chickened out because I didn't want to go there at night alone. You'll see why tomorrow, because I am gonna go there tomorrow. So a second option is doing it in a really creepy room with twin beds behind me, because why not? I was gonna go kind of down a diatribe of some folklore of Nova Scotia that I really like, but I'm gonna save it for tomorrow. I promise you a really fun story tomorrow about a well-known demon that haunts a certain woods here in Nova Scotia. But I'm gonna keep it kind of short tonight. And I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody who has been voting for the Face of Horror contest. We're coming up, I believe there's only 2 days left. Today, tomorrow, I think it ends like tomorrow at 1 a.m. The voting. But I just want to say thank you to everybody who's kept me right at the top. Right now we're in second place. So we got a little bit of work to do over the next day to kind of get us into the first position spot again, because like I've said a few times, if you're not first, you're last in these last rounds. So this is the third last round. If we make it through, we have the afterlife round, and then there's the finals. And then the finals will decide who is Morgue's new Face of Horror. And I very much hope to be said Face of Horror. So kind of a rallying call with this video. Tell your friends, tell your parents, tell your grandparents, tell your cousins, tell your nephews, uncles, aunts, anything. Let them know that they can vote daily on the link in either the post if you're on Facebook or in the bio on Instagram. Basically what I'm after in this contest, which again, I never thought I'd make it this far, but here we are. The winner gets $13,000 cash, which I plan to use to take a portion of that and make a psychological horror film that I'm hoping to make, or wanting to make for a long time now. And we get to do a paranormal photo shoot / investigation with one of the actors, Kane Hodder, who has played Jason Voorhees over the years. And that will be featured in Morgue magazine, which is unreal to me. That would be sick. Again, we've made it incredibly far, and it's all thanks to you guys for sharing and getting me to this position. I know it's been long. I've joked like, oh my God, this thing has more rounds than anything. Feels like I've been doing this all year, but we are very close to the finals. I believe the finals are either announced or voting ends for the final round in early November. So we're very close, promise. I'm gonna stop begging after that. But it's a legitimate possibility that we win this. I think that's crazy exciting. And I think it's why I'm asking, not desperately, maybe a little bit desperately, but just asking, hey, consider voting for me and see if we can't make this work. So then maybe I can make a super good horror film that will allow me to not stay in very obviously haunted bedrooms. I don't think this place is haunted, I think it's fine. Tomorrow's video will be from a famously haunted location, and I'm excited to share that with you. But for now, I'm gonna go. Thanks again, everybody. Again, bit of a rallying call on this one. We've got one more day or 1.5 days, depending on when you're seeing this, for voting for this next round. And if I'm not in first, I am slashed from the contest. But I have faith that we can make this work because you guys are, pardon the French, effing awesome. So I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video, live, not live, but recorded from Dagger Woods. And I'll tell you a little bit about the Heidi Hinder demon. Yeah, that's right. Very exciting stuff. All right, I will see you guys tomorrow. Share the link, consider voting, and all that stuff. And yeah, thanks again, and we'll see you in Dagger Woods. Hey everybody, welcome to the video that I have been most excited to make during this entire Face of Horror contest. By far, I don't even know what second place is. It's so far away. But right now, I am standing smack dab in the middle of a place called Dagger Woods. And I first learned about Dagger Woods, I think it must have been within a year or two of moving to Halifax in 2010, somewhere around that time. I heard about it because there's an amazing band who I thankfully have had the incredible honor of calling friends, called the Stanfields. And you may have heard this song before. They have a song about Dagger Woods, and it tells the tale of an ancient demon who may or may not slaughter and kill a family. Very fun stuff. Hope you guys are having a good day. But ever since I've heard that song, I've had this deep interest in this place, and I've passed by it a million times. There's a sign on the highway that says Dagger Woods, but I've never had the chance to actually stop in and say hi. Today I got to do that, and I'm standing in the middle of Dagger Woods right now. I will say, and usually I don't get this way, even if I'm ghost hunting, there'll be a few places that kind of make me feel a little squirrely. There's something about this place that makes me feel watched. So if you see anything moving in the background, I can't say that I'd be very surprised. Oh my God, every leaf falling, every bird chirping, every tree kind of like creaking makes me super uneasy. So the story of this place and why it kind of intrigues me so much is that there's a kind of a folklore. Oh, it's gonna be a hard video to get through. There's a folklore aspect to this that I love, and I've kind of throughout these videos kind of explained how much I love horror when it comes to film, when it comes to music, when it comes to Nova Scotia kind of being this endless kind of mixing bowl of potential horror inspiration and aspects. But what I love about this story is that it genuinely feels like a horror film. And to help kind of bridge the gap between what I know, because I've been basically studying and addicted to this thing for the past like decade. For those who may have never heard of the Heidi Hinder before, I brought myself a book, Haunted Harbors, Ghost Stories from Old Nova Scotia by Steve Vernon. So whenever I do any sort of ghost hunting stuff, I usually do a little bit of research, and that research is kind of broken down into 3 categories. Sorry if I'm not looking at the camera a lot. I'm like looking through the trees, and it's actually kind of spooking me out. So the type of research I do is one on a very broad kind of spectrum, where it's like you look at the world and how the world sees certain things, like the occult, the darkness, ghosts and spirits and all that. The second aspect of it is more the science side, and I know that sounds ridiculous because it's ghost hunting, but when I say science, I mean more the theories of like, what is a devil? What is a ghost? What is EMF? You know, atmospheric changes, what do they mean, and that type of thing. And the third thing I do, and arguably the most important, is I look into Nova Scotia history when it comes to paranormal activity. One of my favorite authors, who has done a ton of books about this, is Steve Vernon, who wrote this. So today, I want to read the story of the Heidi Hinder that he wrote in this book, word for word, the whole chapter. It's short, but it's very interesting. And I also want to tell everybody at home that if you want to learn more about Nova Scotia's haunted history, seek out Steve Vernon's books, I should say. They're fantastic. They're filled with incredible stories. They're told in a way that's like a mixture of, you know, here's where it happened in sort of a nonfiction sense, but also with a little bit of a fiction narration to it. And I love it. So let me read you the story, chapter 13 in this book, The Heidi Hinder of Dagger Woods, which takes place in Antigonish. Hip deep in my research for this collection, I came across a mention of a demon that was reputed to haunt the Dagger Woods of Antigonish County. These woods. Couldn't find much more than a brief description of the creature, but it sparked a memory of a story that I'd heard of a Heidi Hinder that followed hikers around in the Cape Breton woods. I had discovered two perfectly good pieces of two completely different jigsaw puzzles, and I decided they might fit together nicely. There are an awful lot of stories told about Dagger Woods. Just a long forest road about 15 kilometers east of Antigonish. You can walk through it if you like. By daylight, it doesn't seem like much, but nightfall brings another story. Residents will tell you of the strange and awful cries that sound throughout the woods. Others talk of a gray-clad demon wearing a bright red cap who will follow you around. They call it the Heidi Hinder. And it's said that it will sneak up on unweary hikers and follow them on their way. See, I'm aware, so it can't sneak up on me. That wasn't a challenge. You'll hear it sneaking and creeping up on you just behind your left ear, but try as you might, you can't see it. Turn as fast as you like, and the Heidi Hinder is that much faster. It's worse than trying to catch a mosquito while blindfolded. The Heidi Hinder keeps in your shadow, hiding just behind you, and the only way you can save yourself is to catch a single glimpse of him. That's the hard part. He always moves just that much too fast to be caught. Some say he's just a fooler, a minor level trickster who is looking for a giggle on you. Others say that he will chase you until you panic and run, and that the bones of those who died of exposure and lie lost in the woods are usually scarred by the long, fanged hunger marks of the Heidi Hinder. Super friendly. Definitely sounds super friendly. That's just a little part of the chapter because I realized that's actually a really, really good spot to kind of leave it off. If you want to learn more, there is a little bit more of that chapter, but seek out Haunted Harbors by Steve Vernon. Fantastic book, fantastic writer, very much worth your time. But to kind of wrap this around a little bit, this place, it's weird. Like, I've been to certain places in my life. Like, I've gotten a chance to go to Chicago, to LA. I've seen the Hollywood sign. Certain things like that are like really, really cool, and they kind of make you feel something when you see it because it's so like famous, you know, seeing the Hollywood sign, climbing up the hills and kind of being there. It's like, wow, I've seen this my entire life. This is really cool. I will say for me, this moment in time, actually being inside of Dagger Woods, even though it's daytime, despite the fact that I planned to come here at night, but I chickened out. Being here for the first time ever, after 10 years of kind of enjoying the music of the Stanfields, telling this tale, reading about Steve Vernon's story as well, it is so wild to be here, and it is so uneasy. It is so intriguing, and what I said in the beginning of this, I still feel. It legitimately feels like something is watching me. I don't know where its eyes are. Could be behind me, could be in my shadow. Maybe I'm in a good position because I came in the daytime, but something is watching. And that is super creepy. Beyond words, creepy. As the wind picks up. Oh, God. Maybe I'm regretting this. I will say the Heidi Hinder story would make a great film. I'll just leave it there. I'm gonna get out of here as much as I'm excited. I actually want to leave now. It's like in the afternoon, so there's no chance of the sun going down, but like, you know, what if it just disappeared and then I'd be stuck here at night? That's my rationale right now. Completely irrational thinking here in Dagger Woods. So yeah, thank you guys so much for voting in the Face of Horror contest. I really appreciate it. Thank you for engaging with these videos. These have been really fun to make. I haven't done videos like this in a long time. I used to daily vlog all the time, but I think back then it was more like a, you know, trying to fit the mold of putting a video out and not necessarily having something interesting to say a lot of the time, where this has actually been super fun to talk about horror in music, horror in film, to actually come here to Dagger Woods. It's been super fun to kind of do this. So thank you guys so much for all the viewership on these and the engagement. It means the world. For the Face of Horror contest, I think we have maybe 24 hours, maybe 36 hours. When you see this, you can check the link. If you're on Facebook, it'll be in the post that this video is. I'll put the link there. If you're on Instagram, it'll be in my bio, that link. But last time I checked, we were in second place. And this is one of those rounds where if you're not in first, you are slashed from the competition as the wind picks up. That wasn't a challenge. Oh, but I believe it ends tonight, like super early in the morning or tomorrow. I can't quite remember the timing of it. But if you can consider voting, it would mean a lot. I'm chasing after a thing that will basically let me win 13,000 cash, as well as go on a paranormal ghost hunt / photo shoot that'll be featured in Rue Morgue's magazine, which is amazing to me, with Kane Hodder, who played Jason Voorhees, one of the actors who's played Jason Voorhees over the years. So please, I'm so uneasy right now. Please consider voting. Please consider sharing with everybody, your brothers, your sisters, your mother, your father, your aunts, uncles, everybody. Let them know, and let them know that they can vote daily, every 24 hours. And let's see if we can't take this home, because we are closer than ever to making this a reality. And I just want to thank each and every one of you. Can't even speak right. I'm so scared in these woods right now. I want to thank each and every one of you for this incredible journey. I'm hoping it's not over yet. But if it is, you guys are incredible, and this has been humbling in the best of ways, but also so eye-opening in a lot of different ways. I will have a video for you guys tomorrow as we continue on, and I will update you all as we go through Morgue's Face of Horror contest. Now I'm gonna get the hell out of Dagger Woods. Thank you, everybody, and we will see you tomorrow in another video. See ya. I just saw a squirrel and I damn near fainted. All right, I'm gonna leave. See everybody. Hey, how's it going, everybody? We got another video for the Face of Horror contest. I apologize for the glasses. I have a sinus cold today and my head feels like it's under a jackhammer nonstop. I'm under a bridge right now. The only reason that I chose this location is because it made me feel like Spider-Man. I don't know what that means. I don't know what the connection is from bridge to Spider-Man, except from, I guess he's from New York and there's bridges. But that's going to be my location today. I want to quickly say I don't have many stories today to share about paranormal or movies or anything like that, but what I wanted to say very quickly was that we are on the last few hours. I think when I record this, 8 hours left of the current round, the exorcism round on the Face of Horror. So this video is more or less a rally cry, because currently, as I record this, we're in second place, but we've been bouncing kind of back and forth between first and second place for the past, honest to God, 24 hours. So we're close. You know, we're not so far behind that this isn't doable, but we are to a point now where it's like critical in terms of getting us back into first. So I just want to come on here and kind of say thank you guys for allowing me the platform to come on here and talk about movies, to talk about horror, to talk about music, to talk about film, TV, Ghost, Dagger Woods, all this stuff. It's been incredible, and just to kind of get back into, oh my god, it's so windy right now. Just to get back into the groove of talking about things that I love, because I kind of took this break from film for a while. And getting back into that, kind of falling in love all over again, has been just a blast, and it has been because of this contest, and it's been because you guys have been so engaging with this. So I just want to say thank you. If tonight, when the clock strikes, I believe 1 a.m. our time here in Nova Scotia, but if that time comes and we are not in first place and we get cut from the competition, I have to say that yes, of course it'll be disappointing, but I'm so thankful to have the opportunity to get this far in something like this, and it is 100% because of you guys making this happen. And I just want to pop up and say thank you for making this crazy nightmare that I kind of signed up for on a whim, for making this nightmare a dream. And who knows, maybe we can do this. You know, we've got a few hours left. 1 a.m. when the clock strikes 1 a.m. tonight, Nova Scotian time, the exorcism round will be over. And if we're not in first, we will be slashed from the competition. But if we are in first, there's one more round called the Afterlife round, and then it's the finals. So who knows? Maybe, just maybe, we can pull this off. Please consider voting. I'm so thankful for everything that has gone down over the past few weeks being a part of this contest. It's been a blast to be able to talk about movies, to be able to talk about horror films, to be able to go to Dagger Woods. Hell yeah, that was awesome yesterday. But just the overall experience of this contest has been incredible and very heartwarming, and it has filled my heart in ways that I can't quite explain. So I just want to say thank you to everybody. I wanted to push everybody to consider voting. We're almost there. If we can make it through this round, there's only 2 more rounds, I promise. But I just want to say thank you to everybody for engaging with all this. If you would like to vote, please click the link. If you're on Facebook, it's in the post kind of description of this video. And if you're on Instagram, the link is in my bio that you can check out. But I tell you, this being one of our most important rally calls, share it with everybody. Aunts, uncles, dogs, cats, your grandmother, your great-grandmother, everybody who has the ability to vote and has a Facebook account, because I think you might need a Facebook account to vote. But share this around and see if we can make this happen, because we're so close. We are so close to making it to the Afterlife round, and then who knows, maybe the finals have our name on it. So I'm gonna head out. I will be posting a little bit more throughout the day, just reminding everybody that tonight is the crucial night of getting through the exorcism round. But again, thank you guys so much for listening to my stories, and really just the support alone has been unbelievable. For everybody who's voted, shared, everything, it's been such a humbling and heartwarming experience. So thank you guys so much for this, and let's not let's see if we can't make it to the afterlife round. We're in the exorcism round. Let's see if we can't make it one step further, and then who knows, maybe we'll make it to the finals. I'm gonna go save New York because, again, I don't know why, but this bridge reminds me of Spider-Man. I'm gonna go do that. But I will see you guys soon, and I will update you when I know the results, and I'll be posting a little bit more throughout the night. But yeah, here we go. Last stretch for the exorcism round. Let's see if we can't. Let's see if I can't speak today, clearly, which is a very good sign. Very excited, very nervous, very anxious, very obvious. But yeah, again, please vote, please consider voting, and we'll see you very soon. You guys rock. I love you all. Let's see if we can't become the new face of horror at Room Morgue. See you in the next video, everybody. Fingers crossed, it'll be an update that we are in the afterlife round. See you later, everybody, and thank you. Hey, everybody. Wanted to pop on one last time. We are less than an hour away from the exorcism round coming to an end for Room Morgue's Face of Horror contest, and I just want to say that tonight's been unreal. Just seeing kind of in real time the support for this contest, which I kind of entered on a whim, not thinking that I would make it past the first few rounds. The fact that we're in the third to last round, potentially in the running for the semifinals and then the finals. It's just, it's hard to put into words because I just didn't expect it. But I just want to say thank you to everybody who's shared it, who's voted, who's been just like so supportive on this venture. It has been humbling, which I know I've used the term a lot, but it genuinely has been humbling to kind of have this happen the way that it has. And I just want to, oh, hold up, motion sensor or ghost. Turn the light back on. Yeah? Yeah, look at that. Yeah, I just want to say thank you. I really appreciate it, and I can't believe it in a good way. This has been one of the coolest things, and if the clock strikes 1 a.m. and, you know, we get cut, so be it. Will I be disappointed? Of course. You know, this is something that I genuinely, now that we're this deep into it, I want to win, and I want to go the whole way, and I want to be able to make a great horror film. In a world where funding is damn near impossible, including lighting. Apparently, we can't even get funding for lights here. In a world where funding is very hard to make narrative stories, this could be a real game changer in doing that. And I hope to be able to make a short horror film if we win this. So I want to say thank you to everybody. It's been so wild to watch this kind of happen in real time. And once I find the words, I'll properly put them out there. But I just want to say thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for making this a wild, wild reality. Yeah, it's been crazy. So I think everybody who's probably going to vote or share has done so. But if you're watching this and you're coming in late, and if the contest is still going on when you see this, please consider voting for me for Room Morgue's Face of Horror contest. You can see all the information in the link. If you're on Facebook, it'll be in the post itself. But if you're on Instagram, it'll be in my bio, because Instagram hates links, apparently. But the link will be in my bio, and you can vote there and kind of get more information about the contest and all that. But yeah, tonight's been great. Tonight's been just awesome. It's so weird to be this wholesome in something that's called the Face of Horror in the exorcism round. But hey, life's weird, clearly. All right, I'm gonna head out. The final hour, I'm just gonna let this thing do what it's gonna do. I will update you guys as soon as I know. Might know tomorrow. It might be a little bit of a delay kind of as they tally the votes, but fingers crossed that we'll make it into the next round and get that much closer to potentially becoming Room Morgue's Face of Horror. Unbelievable. Everybody have a good night. Thank you again. I appreciate everybody who has supported and voted and all that. Yeah, and we'll see you on the other side. That's all I can say. Thanks again, everybody, and good night.